Hey folks, so today we will talk about quite old topic. I already made a video that I explain all the web versions, what the Web 2, Web 3, Web 5 and all those things. But video was, let's say, half an hour long. So today we will try to talk about the Web 5, why it's meta, and to talk about the Web 5, I will briefly explain you that if you will take a look to all these web versions, you will understand that practically every version was created as a marketing campaign of some concrete company that tried to sell you some technology. So the Web3 movement, it's the blockchain movement, but it was proposed by the Ethereum folks because they bring the programmable economy, the smart contracts, and they somehow demonize the classical web. The common problem of the Web 3 that it's two big problems. First problem is the second system syndrome. So we have so many different things that are absent in a classical web that everybody have their own vision what the Web 3 is. But for me, it's definitely not the blockchains. It's not only blockchains, yeah. And one of the problems of internet that it doesn't have the identity layer, and it's a main reason why we have the self-sovereign identity. And what the self-sovereign identity is, you could see my different video that explain the self-sovereign identity principles. And you could read my article, The Self-Sovereign Identity in 7 Tuts, where I try to explain in a micro posts what the self-sovereign identity is. But if you will take in short that internet was born without the identity layer, so when you talk with some IP address, you don't know who actually this person is, and you have nothing in TCP packages that actually give you the possibility to verify that this package was sent from this particular person, and it's created a lot of security holes. So some people really keen on it and say that it's privacy, some other people say that it's a security problems, but we have quite big problem that we have no way to build reliable identity that not locked to some centralized system or some blockchain. So, and main idea of SSI that create the self-sovereign you, give you the possibility to describe your identity, give you the possibility to own your own data and make this data end verifiable, that at least we could say that this data was issued by the concrete person, or find the mechanism that prove that this data is owned by some particular person. So it's the main concepts of the SSI. So SSI exists for a long time, and that was a huge boom of SSI in 2020, before the COVID. With the COVID, it was a lot of use cases where we try to issue the self-sovereign identity verifiable credentials for the COVID certificates and so on. So, and in some point of time, it's was the company TBD that was founded and invested by the Jack, so the founder of Twitter, that they bring the new marketing campaign that actually try to advertise the Web5. And the Web5, on the advertisement, it was the combination of the Web 2 and Web 3, so take the best from the both worlds. And you could find my video. I made the first review of Web5, and I was quite disappointed because I said that, come on, Web5 is just yet another SSI repackaged, and it's not adding anything on top. So we're doing the Web5 for 3 years, and we're not talking about this. And since a long period of time, I would say that it's not fully true. So the TPD folks, they bring something new, and they bring the new concepts together with the old SSI principles. And the main benefit of the Web5 as a concept and the work of the DPD folks is the decentralized web nodes. So the decentralized web nodes actually combine some good SSI tools, like for example the decentralized identifier and the cryptographical distributed identity, but the decentralized web nodes actually offer you the relay-based decentralized architecture for the decentralized web apps. So it's the combination of messaging, persistent storage, and some good, let's say, architecture that allows you to build the decentralized web apps and self-sovereign apps more effectively. Yeah, so you could see my another video about the decentralized web nodes and how they work, but they bring this persistence and identity layer, and it was missed by the web, so they fixed the web in the way of this concept of the decentralized web nodes. But together with this, they raise quite interesting question that your sovereign data is not always the verifiable credentials. You could store practically every kind of data that are coupled with the schema. So if we try to reframe that Web5, try to solve the problem of the missing identity layer and try to give you the possibility to own your identity and own your data and create the data in a way that you actually could prove that this data belongs to you or this data was created by you. And it's based on the decentralized identifiers as a basic of identity and communication. So everybody have the DID or multiple DIDs where they could identify each other and to talk with each other through the DIDs. And you have some kind of message box that could be highly configurable and build the applications on top or set the rules how you communicate with others. So it's the decentralized web nodes. And on top of the decentralized web nodes, you actually could build a lot of trust tasks, trust protocols, build the custom protocols that could exchange the data as a verifiable credentials or as just the self-explanatory data with the schema. We will talk about this inconsistency of the different data schema formats and verifiable credentials. So this is the topic of the separate video, but the Web5 is all about identity and ownership and decentralization, and that's it. So it's quite different from the Web3 because Web3 is heavily focused on the blockchain, but with the blockchain we have a couple of problems. For example, the main problem of blockchain is the speed. Another problem of blockchain that we try to lock user in a network. So you not exist outside of the blockchain. You could not take your identity outside of the blockchain. If you need to build something, you need to bring it as a smart contracts or some other things, and sometimes it's not feasible and you're quite limited in the interaction from the blockchain to the external world. So, and the main problem of the blockchain actually that you have not so much about the privacy. Yeah, right now we have a huge wave of discussions and fights about the Tornado Cash, the privacy payments and all other things. But you know, it's the side effect of this public ledger. Yeah, so and the problem that blockchains was not designed to be privacy first. They was not designed to be private. They was designed to be public, and the Bitcoin paper focused actually on the public ledger and the single state and global state with the consensus, and it's created a lot of questions, you know. So and SSI and Web5 is more privacy focused because you keep your own data, you have the protocols that are user-centric, that people ask you, could you share your data with us? We interested in these data points, and you decide on your side what you want to share, and you could share the part of the credential or the part of the data that only necessary, or you could share via zero knowledge proofs, that confirmation that actually you own such kind of data or the characteristic without the revealing the data itself. So the Web5 is mainly about the privacy. And so it's more about ownership. And it's what current blockchains and Web3 really doesn't have at all. So that's why the Web5 is important. But adoption was quite low, and it was a huge boom of the SSI companies. Majority of these SSI companies just disappear. It's a topic for separate video why it happens, but right now situation has changed with the rise of the artificial intelligence and the rise of the concept of the artificial intelligence agents, because right now data is something that have value, and if somebody wants to train the models on high quality data, I guess that right now the data ownership is the big topic, because you want to get money out of your data. You want to make your data working for you, gets you more money, more insights, more power, connect all these data points with other people, maybe create some insights on collective data and create the social brain. So all these topics require the identity layer, all these topics require the ownership layer, and it's simply not solved in a Web3. That's why we have the SSI, that's why we have the Web5. That's all. So it's quite simple. I was happy to share it with you. Read my articles, ask the questions. I'm quite keen to answer all this stuff. Subscribe to our channels, read my social medias, and just